listening.
Yeah, what?
Woo! Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to yet another
installment
of the Listeners Club podcast.
Socially distanced special.
Yes, we're all in our own rooms with our wallpaper we all put up.
We've been having a lot of fun wallpapering our rooms every week.
That's pretty much all I did all week was make this wallpaper, which was really fun.
You didn't finish it though. You still got all that.
It takes a long time. But you know, you can get
the gain a little bit on that.
You can get the idea of what it is. But again, if you would like to guess what each of our wallpapers, what the album is, go ahead and email us at. Do you remember what it is?
Yeah.
What is it?
Listening with us at gmail.com.
LISTENINGWITHUS at symbol, not thimble.
At thimble.
Gmail. GMAIL.
I'll.
It's the echo. It's like doing that. You know that app, that thing where you try to say the Star Spangled Banner.
Yes.
It's like Speech Jammer. That's the app.
Yeah,
it's called Speech Jammer.
That's exactly what this is.
Take one out.
Take you out.
It's still just as bad with one.
I know.
Except for quieter.
Right on. Well, yeah. Let's get right into it. This week,
Joey's.
It's Joey's pick. And Joey, why don't you tell us what we listened to this week?
This week, I chose an album by Kamasi Washington. It's called Harmony of Difference. And I chose it primarily because of everything that's going on. And I thought it was important to use this platform to kind of lift up a black artist that I respect and is doing something that is kind of like out of the ordinary. And as well as this album in particular has like such a unifying and beautiful like sentiment. So yeah, that's pretty much why I chose it.
Right on. Do you want to talk about talk about the album first, or do you want everybody else to go and then you talk last, like Austin
I'd like
did?
to hear what you guys have to say.
Right on.
Let's kick it over to the jazz aficionado.
Really? Okay. Well.
No.
Well, I was.
Or did you want to talk first?
No.
I want to hear the jazz head, man.
Yeah. Well, so Joey came into the bakery this week, and we were talking about a little bit about the album, and we were talking about how I said, yeah, I bet you Alan's gonna love this album, and then we started talking about how really we just want to impress Alan. I was like, yeah, Alan likes maybe like 2 out of 10 of my picks, and so like I'm like super stoked whenever like I pick something that he's like, all right, cool. Not that I don't care what the rest of you guys think, but it's just kind of like it's like an extra little point if Alan digs it.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's throw it right straight to you, Alan.
But I will say before we move on, is that I'm always surprised by the albums that Alan doesn't like.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you said, most of the albums are like, if it's not like I'm bringing this for nostalgic value only, then it's like I want to impress Alan.
Yeah.
So, like sometimes I'll bring an album. I'm like, Alan's gonna fucking dig this, and he's like, I don't really care. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm moody, you know.
Moody Blues.
Yeah.
That being said, I hated this album. Just kidding. I really liked it a lot. I thought it was a really cool blend of jazz and like the cool like instrumental soul that people are doing now, like the Olympians and L. Michaels Affair and stuff like that. Yeah, I thought the album, like every song on there and every melody is just so catchy. And that song, I think my favorite song on it is Knowledge, which I believe is the third track. And that song is triumphant. And I love that he blends all the songs together. It's really sweet. Between the first track and the second track, there's like a delay noise that carries through. Is super cool. And then how like there's just like similar melodies going throughout the whole EP, and how the second to last and the last song are essentially like one big movement, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I've never listened to Kamasi Washington before. I've definitely heard the name. But I really liked it. I'll definitely listen to it again for sure. So thanks, Joey.
Yeah. Super funny that you said your favorite track was
Knowledge.
Because I wrote down right here my favorite track on the album. Especially after the second track, which
Was your throwaway?
No, I wouldn't say. Well, maybe it is my throwaway.
Oh my god, that's probably my favorite song.
It's just.
Well, tell them why.
Okay.
Because you have like a reason for it.
My reasoning is it's. Well, okay. I'm gonna take out my earphone just so I can talk. I thought that. Well, when I listened to it and was looking at the track names, this one, the second track is called Humility, and I figured it was named that for a reason, because it maybe invokes that sort of feeling to the track, and it's so opposite of what I think humility looks like for me that it kind of threw me off a little bit. So that was why that song. And then also I felt like people were just showing off the whole time. Like in that one, like that piano solo is ridiculously it's crazy and good, but as far as humility goes, I don't think it really.
But I made the argument also that like usually people that are really humble are people that are like making a splash or like have like a big impact in the world. So like it makes sense that it would be a big like anthemic song to illustrate like if you're a humble person, like this is also how you're interacting with the world.
Yeah.
So if the song Humility was like it just started like one key and then like just waited 5 minutes and just did one more key and then like that was the whole song, would you be like spot on? That's exactly what Humility is. That's a really humble
song. There's just like one cello note the whole time.
Yeah,
but then that could be interpreted as being super pretentious,
right?
You know?
I don't know what I was looking for. I guess I wasn't really looking for anything. But anyway, it just threw me off.
I do get what you're saying though, as far as like the track title being called Humility, and then it's like, and that piano part, like okay, the horns in the beginning, like I love the horns in the beginning, but then the piano part just is just like, yeah, it just goes off, and I'm just like, I've listened Well, I'll let you continue,
Okay.
then I'll talk about it.
I'm gonna take my earpiece out again so nobody else say anything. I listened to this a few times. That's gross.
What are you doing, Alan? Did you not realize that?
I'm just holding my microphone.
Wait, I can't hear him.
I'm not. I'm just holding my microphone. Is what he said.
Oh. I think my first listen through, like a couple first listen throughs, I really didn't enjoy it at all, and I was like, this sucks. I still hate jazz. But all that to say, I remembered a little thing that I was confronted with earlier, maybe like a couple months ago, is that I want to, well, I mean, I've said this on the podcast before, but I was reminded of it again, is that I really want to open myself up to things that I'm not comfortable with, I guess, or familiar with, or that make me feel something right away. So this was a perfect example of that, and a way for me to kind of stretch those muscles in my brain.
Right.
So I ran to this album yesterday and listened to the whole thing through, which I haven't run in a while, so that felt really cool. And it was an interesting album to run to, but I kind of picked up on a couple more things that I was kind of stoked on. And then this morning I put on my headphones, listened to it, and then kind of read a little bit more about what it was all about. And it really made me appreciate it like a ton more. And I think I wrote down my initial reaction and why I think that I didn't like it at first is that I'm not used to just having like a saxophone be the front man, I guess, or the thing that's supposed to make me feel something, or has the main melody line that I'm supposed to be listening to. I don't know what it is, but in my mind, I just think it sounds cheesy or something like that, or unemotional in some sort of way. But the more I listened to it, and the more I kind of grabbed onto the theme and what it was all about, I feel like I got a lot more from it emotionally, and ended up really enjoying that part of it. So I feel like I pushed past my disregard for what it was, and I really liked it. And Knowledge being my favorite track, just a little bit to say on that one. I felt like just diving into it a little bit, and maybe this is like a high, I'm high, and I assumption what it's about, but I wasn't high, so
That's that Daniel
Daniel Johnston.
thing, right? Hello, I'm high.
no, I don't know.
Hi, how are you? Hi, I'm high.
So Knowledge,
Make that, dude.
the track Knowledge for me, it kind of gets into this melody right at the beginning that kind of glides over the surface, and that reminded me of like kind of how you start out learning things. You're kind of going over the surface of things and picking up on things earlier in your life, and you kind of glide over the surface, and then it gets into that trumpet solo, and that to me was like my 20s, my 30, and into my 30s. I'm still 30. I'm 36 now, I guess. So that's, oh man, that sucks. But and I felt like there was just such a grit to that trumpet, and I'm pretty sure it's a trumpet, and it like almost digs into the foundation of the song as it's going along, and that just reminded me of kind of how I look at knowledge nowadays, where I'm like really digging into things a little bit more, trying to figure out how those foundations work and how I can play off of them in a certain way. And then it like kind of upends right after the trumpet solo into that saxophone, and it's smoother, but it's not quite glazing over the surface anymore, but it's like intertwined with the foundation of the song, but it's still a beautiful solo, and it kind of crescendos at the end and just makes me feel like that is a journey through knowledge in your life, and that's kind of what I got from that. And I just really enjoyed the journey of that song, even though it's only like 3 or 4 minutes. Yeah, and one other thing. Hopefully, I'm not taking up too much time. The song "Integrity" reminded me of Donkey Kong Country. Have you ever played that game?
Yeah.
The soundtrack for it, like
I don't remember the soundtrack.
I don't know. It's weird to say. Anyway, it just reminded me of playing that game when I was a kid. So I thought that was kind of fun.
That's hilarious.
And that last track, "Truth," I mean, I don't even need to say anything about it that hasn't been said in like reviews and stuff, but it makes a lot of sense. Like putting all of these melodies and things together and having them work together as a beautiful sort of beautiful entity.
Yeah.
Right
I
on.
feel like it's like a perfect culmination of the album. Obviously, like that's those intentions. But I think that the fact that it is titled "Truth" is kind of like this is the overarching theme. Like this is the thing that you need to pay attention to. Like this is like the message. It's like truth is like key.
And truth
That
is
sounds like a high
unity,
thought too.
almost, right?
Yeah.
It's finding
Well,
a
and,
way
like,
for all those
unity
things to
takes,
work
like,
together.
All of these like qualities that are highlighted throughout the album, but like the key quality to make unity work is like truth. So I don't know.
Wow, you guys really dived in on the meaning of stuff. I didn't take any notes, and so I'm just going to go off the top of my head.
I like that.
That's a good song. Is that even a song? I'll start with Truth, since we were talking about Truth. That song irritated me so much. The piano slamming at the end, where it's just like, it literally just sounds like a dog on the piano. It's just like, ding, dong, 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 dong. And it's like, there's this beautiful melody and like this beautiful thing going on behind it. And then it's just like, somebody is just like, I play music too. And they're just smashing the keys. And it irritated me so much. So that's I think, probably my biggest criticism. So we got that out. I want to go back to Humility, which is the second song on the album. That Austin, you said that probably was your least favorite. Probably,
Yeah. I would say
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy that the most.
It was this. I had this realization in the shower listening to it. What I'm trying to do is listen to it like the full album in my car a couple times, at the bakery, and in the shower, and then on just like doing random things in my house. So, which I was able to do with this album. But when I was in the shower yesterday, I had it playing on my shower speaker, and that song came on, and you know, it just starts with those horns, and it's just like like, and I was just right. That's that song, right?
Yeah. Ba-na-na-na, da-na-na-na.
That's kind of like the recurring melody throughout the whole
Sure.
album.
Okay.
But yes,
but it just
that's
starts
like
like
the
very
big-
prevalent, right? And I'm like, and then it does like this, like these like key changes in that, like da-na-na-na, 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 and then the piano comes in, and I realized like, oh, like there is like, that's the chorus, or the chorus is like that like melody, and then the verses come in with like these, you know,
Verses.
like with like the piano and stuff, and like that's like that's like where the lyrics are, like the like trying to put something forth and trying to like say something within the melody like the piano, and then it goes back into the chorus of it, and so I kind of had this realization, like especially with jazz instrumental, that I could relate with, I guess. I could relate with it in that way. With the song "Knowledge," a couple of days ago, I was in the bakery, and I just all of a sudden just had this melody in my head, and I was trying to figure it out, and I had to sound hound it, and I finally figured it out, that it was sing it. It's like why do stars fall down from the sky every time you walk by? Just like me, they long to be close to you.
Isn't it "Why Do Birds Suddenly Appear"?
That's the first part.
That's the
Oh,
first,
that's the
yeah.
second.
Yeah, it goes,
Okay.
why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near?
You are
just
near,
like
just like
you're
me. They
There you
long to be
to be
too
close
close
Okay,
to you.
song like that.
Close, close
Dude, do it in Kermit's. Do
Close.
Kermit sing.
to you.
Yeah, I love it. So, and then I listened to the song. It's by the Carpenters. Close to You, or something along the lines of that is the title. And I kind of got emotional listening to it. I'm like, oh, that sentiment of all of these things happening, but like I want to be just like them. Like I want to be close to you. And I'm like, kind of got emotional about it, and was like, oh, anyway. Then I go into the car, and because I was listening to it, it starts playing it, and it does like the piano, a little bit in the piano, and then it does the melody. And I listened to the whole song. I'm like, sweet. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go back to listening to Kamasi, Washington. So I play Knowledge. And it starts off with a little piano. And I'm like, oh, weird. And I had just listened to the Carpenter song. I was like, oh, that sounds really familiar. And then when the horn kicks in, it's like, ha, 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 are the first three notes. And I realized the reason why I had that in my head was because I've been listening to Kamasi, Washington, and been listening to Knowledge all week. And then, so I go back, and I can sing the whole Carpenter song to Knowledge.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
So it's like the
It's the
mashup
same-
of Wizard of Oz and Dark Side of the Moon.
Similar. Okay. I'll say okay.
I remember I went to a party when I was in high school. This is when I didn't drink or anything. And there were kids in a room that took acid and were playing the Pink Floyd album to whatever the fucking movie is.
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
You're like,
I don't know what these degenerates are doing.
Okay. Quick note on
Uh-huh.
that too. I think we were talking about doing that once. It was when I was living with Steve in Pismo, Coop, and we were watching Nightmare Before Christmas on mute, and then listening to RX Bandit's Resignation. And I swear to you,
oh yeah,
I swear,
oh yeah.
it matched up. It was so trippy.
Hi, I'm high.
That's my quote of
Yeah, hi, I'm
this
high.
podcast.
Alan has that tattoo on his butt.
One
I
other
do.
I was reminded of listening to that I wanted to say about integrity, actually, not just that it reminded me of playing Donkey Kong Country when I was a kid, was that the violin solo, or I think it might be cello or bass, I don't know, it's a bowed instrument. It is so freaking, that's one of the coolest solos I've ever heard in any jazz, song I've ever heard. It's like everything comes down in the groove of it, but it keeps that same tempo, and everything comes down, and then it's just this airy string bow, happening, and it's the most interesting solo I've ever heard. I just said that, but it's really cool. If you guys didn't notice it on your first listen through, go back, just listen to that song, because I feel like that really pointed out kind of integrity, like turned back on it. Just because it's integrity, when I think of integrity, it's like what you're doing when no one's looking. It's a bastardized version of that, of the definition, but to me, that's what I think of. And to have that be the solo of just this like really subtle violin playing that you've never heard before, playing almost underneath everything, it spoke that to me, I guess. I don't know. That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love something I love about listeners is hearing Luna.
Yeah, of course.
No, something I love about listeners is hearing your guys' perspectives and then being able to go back and listen to the albums, because clearly I have my own opinions about them, or like my own ideals or whatever, like, but it's really cool to go back and be like, I'm gonna go back and listen to that and be like, oh, this is the solo that Austin was talking about. Super cool.
What, I mean, let's hear what you have to say.
Okay. No.
I didn't know if you had more. Sorry. I mean, you're not right there.
There's something that, like, I keep catching us go
looking at each other. We're not in the same room.
Next to each
We're
other.
pretending to look at each other.
Outside, socially distanced.
I tried to fake it out and look this way.
It's like,
so if you see me look this
if
way,
we look this way, we're talking to Alex.
The last thing I wanted to say was that I listened to it like in its entirety the first time that you sent it, Joey.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I was kind of like, jazz. And I was like, okay, but I just gotta power through it and be able to listen to it, and which I did. And then the next day I got into my car and it was queued up, so it automatically started playing. And I was like, oh, I know this song. I was like, oh yeah, this sounds really familiar, and turned it up and was like, yeah. And then I realized, shit, it's only because I listened to it yesterday, but that's how familiar I got with it. I got so familiar with it. Familiars. I gave it away. I got so familiar with it so quickly, and I really love that. And then so that kind of like gave me inspiration to really start listening to it, really diving into it. And then I ended up just absolutely loving it. And going back to what you were saying, Joey, was that like so far, this is only episode 2 of this special limited series. But so far, I will go back and like these, like I'm putting these in my pocket. Like these are things I will always go back to. Like Jason and Kamasi Washington are like, so far, I'm like, hell yeah, let's keep this going. And I'm really afraid for my pick. Anyway, yeah, let's hear what you have to say about it, Joey.
So, like I said a little bit before, I don't want to like talk too much about the state of the world and what's going on, but I think it's important that we give a little credit to the fact that Black lives are being taken, like, unnecessarily. Not that there really isn't a reason for it. But I just wanted to use my platform, a small platform, where my friends can hear me out and say that, like, we can use this platform and we can use our voice to lift up the Black community, like, in a small way, and show that, like, we care, and like we're taking all of this media in, like the contributions by the Black culture to like science, music, art, like everything that we take in is so large, and I just wanted to like take a moment to be like intentional in choosing an album that gives credit to that.
Yeah.
And so that's like my first inclination was like, I want to play like these rappers that I've been listening to. And while like I love rap, I didn't want to necessarily like tie myself to anyone's message and like have to like pick apart lyrics and be like, here's why I chose this. So I intentionally chose an album and an artist that were doing instrumental music that had a message that was all about unity and all about compassion and empathy. And like, I listened to this album as like a meditation, and I've been listening to it and thinking about everything that's going on in the world. I've been listening to it and reading and researching and figuring out how I can live my life in a way that is not just comfortable, and like figuring out ways that I can be an ally, and I don't get to decide if I'm an ally or not, but I want to be committed to that effort. So yeah, I've just been meditating on this album a lot, and I think that like the message behind it is so strong, and it comes across in the music, and I just thought it was important to bring to you guys.
I can say that that all the listeners club agrees with me, and that we really appreciate you doing, and yeah, I'm with you, man. And
I think that's the beautiful thing about this album that I realized, and I think it's intentional. It doesn't shove it in your face to a point where it's like, this is how you need to feel. It's meant to start a conversation, and I think that that's what I love about what this album represents in this movement. That's, I mean, should have been happening a long time ago. But
Yeah.
And this album came out, or this EP,
2017.
2017. So I mean, they were saying this in 2017. Now it's 3 years later.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I would have heard this then and started confronting those thoughts and issues. And it's unfortunate that now, with like everything that's going on, it's come to this. When people, 3 years ago were preaching this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think this is a beautiful representation of how we should interact with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that I've learned the past few weeks is listen, which is really, I guess, ironic, because I
feel like we should be the ones.
I'm in a freaking club called the Listeners Club.
I have a tattoo that says listener.
Yeah, and it's just like
not a great job.
Right, and like I've been just kind of like I've been seeing a lot of people just being like look at like listen, and I'm like, huh, okay, and being able to do that, like even like not to make it like even like Christianese even, but like if you want to hear from like the Lord, like you have to listen, you have to silence your thoughts, and you have to actually like really listen. And that's a big thing that I've learned, that I've been learning, and I'm trying to do myself with this whole thing. And I just think it's really poignant that we're here at the Listeners Club, talking about this and saying, hey, listen. I think it's good. I think thank you, Joey, for bringing this this album.
Yeah, thanks, Joey.
Use this platform. Political.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to use this platform to like divide anyone, but I think that it's really important. And I don't think that as friends, especially, but even as listeners, like we've ever kind of like tried to skirt around the hard things. And like some of our episodes have gotten like super deep, and we've talked about like really hard things.
Yeah.
And like I just thought it was important that we like highlight this right now and say that like we're here in solidarity.
Yeah, 100%. One thing I have two more things before we go into anything else, but you said that Kamasi Washington did some stuff for a dude named Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar, yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't research anything. I was just listening to it, so I don't know really anything.
So he's done some work with like some prolific rappers. Most known for like working on To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which is one of Alan's. I want to say it's one of Alan's. It's Alan's favorite rap album. Right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that that's another thing is like, my first inclination was to like just play To Pimp a Butterfly, but I like also know that like it just felt like not my place to represent the words behind the album because it's all from his perspective of like being a black person in like a marginalized society. And I just, it didn't feel right for me to be like, this is my message.
Right. Yeah.
But like, I feel like the message behind this album is like all of our message, like regardless, or should be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I was going to choose the album right away, but.
Which we would have been like, no, you can't, because we are already done To Pimp a Butterfly.
Have we?
Alan?
Yeah, I put it on.
So we would have been like, choose another one. Then he would have chose this one.
But
so
it's fine.
It's all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So like when I was like, I don't know what to play, like I was like doing research on To Pimp a Butterfly, and I was like, oh yeah, Kamasi Washington, like I'm familiar with that name. And I was like, I'm gonna go listen to more of his music because I wasn't really familiar with it. So like this is new to me too.
It is.
Yeah, for sure.
I heard his album before this.
Oh, you did?
Epic. Well,
Epic.
I haven't listened to it yet, but I heard that's pretty deep dive, and it's like 173 minutes or something.
Yeah, it's like 3 hours and 9 minutes or something.
But I hear that it's pretty freaking good. So
Well,
that's
then
what I
I'll
was going
have
to
to check it
choose,
out.
but I didn't want to subject you guys to.
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah.
I think it was a good call. I really, like I said, I really love this. This little. I mean, technically, I guess it's an EP.
Yeah.
But like, I really did. I really enjoyed it, and you'll be able to tell by my rating once we get there. I just want to say one other thing: is I got this beer. It's called Brother Thelonious. I can't
Hold it back by you.
Okay, hold it back by
your
me.
Chest. There you
Right here. It's really good. But I got it. I was standing in line getting some other beer, and
go. Here, let me hold it.
and then the cool thing about it is that I was reading it. I'm like, oh, Thelonious. I'm like, oh, cool. Like that's jazz, you know? What? And then it said, and then at the bottom it says supporting jazz education, and they donate proceeds from every one of these bottles to the Monterey Jazz. The jazz education programs of the Monterey Jazz Music Festival. So, anyway, I thought it was cool. None of you guys did, but maybe the listeners will.
I do love Thelonious Monk.
Who's that?
I think as far as jazz goes, just a thought. I love when I was reading about this album, there's a lot of odes intertwined through everything. And I love that that's a part of jazz. And it was almost a part of what I thought last week's album was as well, was like an ode to the past or things that you hear and you make your own eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I love that jazz in itself kind of plays off history and kind of moves it forward.
I think that like at jazz, because it's so inundated with like standards and stuff, that it's kind of like, here's your building blocks and here's what you take and like alter and make your own, which is like just a deeper like explanation of like what you said basically.
But I think that's a beautiful representation, a metaphor, if you will, of what we're doing and what we're trying to do, or why you brought this, is taking the past and moving it forward, but respecting the past, and seeing it and knowing it, and then moving it.
Yeah,
like I don't know.
Yeah,
is that cool? No.
Yeah.
Is that high?
Yeah. Hi, I'm high.
Hey.
Hi. Right on. Awesome. Well, let's go into ratings real quick. Let's go back around. Let's go, Alan. What do you think? How many Al Diggity Dog stars?
I'm gonna give this album 10 out of 10 Al Diggity Dogs.
Wee! 10 out of 10. Very nice. All right, Austin. How many Illuminati stars? I almost forgot it.
Illuminati.
Illuminati stars. Okay, I did forget it.
I'm going to give it 11 out of 11.
Whoa.
Good job.
You guys, I'm really sorry. Since you guys have given it perfect scores, I'm going to have to ruin the perfect score. But I'm going to say 9.9 out of 10. Just
Fuck
because,
me, I guess.
just because of the pounding of the piano. If it didn't have the if it didn't have the dog playing piano,
isn't that
truth.
Exactly what truth is, though? Because that exists. Things exist in your life that annoy you.
It's a really nice try, but still saying a 9.9.
Truth is not easy, Chandler.
All right, 10 out of 10.
Yay!
No, for real, I really am changing it to 10 out of 10 because of that. You're totally right.
Hell yeah.
All right, Joey.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Perfect little EP.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there were another song, if I would have still got 10 out of 10. It's so concise. It says everything it needs to say without saying anything.
Right.
And it's accessible.
It's totally accessible.
Yeah.
It's also acceptable.
It's acceptable, too. I think that it's just so cool because, like Alan said, it's like playing into this like soul thing that like Jean-Michel Afel is doing. And I think that as far as jazz goes, it's like I would do this on at a party. You know?
Oh yeah.
And I don't think it would like alter the mood except for to make people happier.
Look I'll tell you this. Emily doesn't like jazz and she gets annoyed by jazz. And when I put this on, she was like, I put on first the Carpenter song and then put on and, was singing it to her. Because I also texted her. I was like, hey, why do stars fall from the sky every time you're around? And she was like, what? Why? I was like, because just like me, they long to be close to you. And she was like, oh, boo! Please do more stuff like that. And so I played the song, and then I played the album, and she was like, I'm really liking the music that you've been playing lately.
That's awesome.
And I was like, sweet, because that's Austin and Joey. and then, also I was listening to another album. I put on 13th Floor Elevators. And she's like, are you allowed to listen to this? I was like, what? Where are we? Cambodia? Like, what?
First of all, we're not going to tear that apart.
No, in the
But okay.
60s,
Yeah,
you weren't
yeah,
allowed to
yeah,
listen to
yeah,
rock
yeah.
and roll. Anyway. But I was like, no. She's like, oh, I thought you could only listen to what the listeners like for the whole week. I was like, no. I was like, no, that would not be good. We'd all just be like, no, don't like this album anymore. But anyway, even Emily really liked it. So that's to say it's a good
Same
EP.
with Sarah. I was driving with her this morning at dawn. She was like, "What's this?" And
Nice.
she really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
She's like, "It reminds me of my stuff that my dad used to listen to."
Nice. That's awesome.
That's cool.
That's really rad. Awesome. Well, sweet. That's a perfect album. Go ahead and listen to it, you guys. It's really good. Kamasi Washington. The album is called Harmony and Difference. Thank you.
Harmony of Difference.
Harmony and Difference.
Indifferent.
Harmony and Difference.
Yeah.
Harmony
of difference.
of Difference. Yeah. Check it out. It's really cool. And let's get right into.
Let's give him something to talk about. Oh, wait.
No,
You're not allowed to do it. Go ahead,
It's
Joey.
only the person that does the album. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just kidding. Let's get on something to talk about. How about Bonnie rating the album?
Nice. All right. Let's. Joey, you got to go first, bud.
Dude, honestly, 69 out of 69.
60. Okay.
Here's why. Because there are chaotic moments, but it's so sensual.
Doesn't sometimes sexual encounters get a little chaotic sometimes?
Yeah, you accidentally like put your hand on her hair. And she's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's the pounding of the keyboards.
Yeah.
No, this is the pounding of the keyboards.
What?
Gross, dude.
I was. I'll go next. I was listening to this.
I was too.
We were all listening to it. So when I was listening to this, I just had it in my house, like for the whole house to hear. So I'm listening to it, and Emily, I'm like in the kitchen, and Emily's like, "Hey, what do you think the Bonnie rating is gonna be of this?" And I'm just like, when she says stuff like that, like I'm like, oh, she like cares about me, like she understands, what the listeners thought is, and like what Bonnie rating is. And I walked in there, and I was like, you know what it is? And she's like, 69 out of 69. And I was like, yes, of course it is. It is 100% 69 out of 69.
It's a fuckable album, dude.
It is. Yeah, it's made for fucking.
So what happened was
What
Chandler took off
happened
his
was-
pants when he said that. And
He's
he
all,
said,
you know what it is.
But yeah, 69 out of
Overtime.
60. It's not that kind of when okay, yeah, so 69 out of 69. Joey, are you making sweet sax love to Carmen Sandiego in California?
No.
no?
Nope. All right.
My Bonnie rating?
My bond.
My Bonnie.
My bond.
My Bonnie rating is, let's do a 60. 43 out of 69.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're crazy, dude.
I feel like I'd be so introspective if this came on.
Isn't that something that you want to do? Be introspective when you're.
While I'm making love?
Yeah.
No.
No, he wants to be outrospective.
Dude, making love is all about yourself.
He wants to be. He says, "Sir, I want to be in your perspective."
Wait, are you Inuit?
no.
God.
That wasn't even on the podcast, so it's not even a throwback.
Yeah, because we don't have 45 minutes for a joke.
If you guys want to hear the joke, sign on to our
Don't.
Patreon because we'll have this joke on our Patreon.
All right.
We should literally make a Patreon that's only a video of Austin telling that joke.
Okay, look at if you want to look at. I know Lo will love it.
She's still bummed you're married.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay. Joey, are you making some Play-Doh in the form of your penis to put into Carmen Sandiego's Playhouse
Mm.
I mean, it would be the same texture.
on the East Coast
Yes.
of not
California.
California.
The
On
East
the
Coast of
of the
California.
United States.
Yes.
Okay. Are you in the northern east?
Yes. You might get this.
I won't. He will not. I guarantee you, he will not. Alan might, but guarantee you, he will not.
Are you in New York?
Nope.
Fudge. I tried to just lay it up for you.
Dude. Forrest Gump, baby. Just kidding.
No.
Just kidding. I'm
no.
totally kidding.
I mean, technically, Forrest Gump. What?
Runs
really?
there.
Okay.
I was running.
One thing I wanted to say on Austin is when you were running to the album, where was the album? When you were running?
Oh,
Good
dude.
one, Shannon.
Yeah. Now that
Like, where was the album?
Around the block.
There you go. Okay. Well, Alan.
My Bonnie rating is 65 out of 69. And
Out of 69 out of 69.
what?
What? Why are you?
Why foreshort?
Yeah. Why?
You don't get to ask that.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
I'm
foreshort
asking.
and 7 years ago.
Tell.
Because if it's a 69 out of 69, you have to put it on when you're making love, right?
Just for the week.
For the week. This is more like if it came on, I would come on.
Okay.
You know?
Gross. But yeah.
Make it linger.
Huh?
Do you have
To
to?
make it linger.
You want to make. Is what I said.
what?
Somebody on the shoulder.
Oh my god, dude! That guy's just smiling at you.
Look over at him.
Yeah, look over at him. Touch his nose. Keep going.
Oh, no.
Oh, his finger. There you go. There you go. In his mouth.
Putting his finger in his mouth.
Hey guys, if you guys want to know what's going on, go to our website, thelistenerspodcast.com, and check out our video feed. It's us on Skype, and it's awesome. Just come check us out.
It's awesome. Joey, are you pounding Carmen Sandiego's piano keys in Maine?
No.
Dude, in Maine.
Why would I be in Maine?
I don't know. It's on the East Coast.
Okay, hold on. Before you say it, let me
Northern
give you
East Coast.
a hint. Forrest Gump has been there twice.
Washington D.C.
Well, let's see if he keeps going. Now this is a place that he's never been, but he was on the he was right there.
The Washington Monument.
No.
No?
All right, go ahead and say it.
I was in the White House bunker. Because I'm a coward.
All right, awesome. Well,
Is that it?
That's
yeah,
it.
Well, we also have to do
Who's
next week's pick?
Who's coming up next
next
week?
week pick, but we also have to do throwaway song,
Oh,
Is that a thing?
right? Am I wrong?
Did we do that last week?
yeah, sort of.
Last week.
Okay.
You don't have to pick a throwaway song because I didn't pick a throwaway song.
It also sucks to throw away any of these songs because of the
Right.
way that they were titled.
Title,
They're
yeah.
like, you know what? I'm gonna throw away humility. I'm gonna throw
I'm gonna
away perspective.
integrity.
Like truth. Like that sucks. But okay, it sucks. And in no way am I gonna throw away actual truth. But this song, I would. If this song wasn't on there, I wouldn't be disappointed. I mean, I would be. I love the whole
which
album.
one?
Truth.
Truth?
Yeah. It's because of the pounding of
That
the.
is
It's because of.
true.
Oh,
That's a
come on.
big one.
It's because of the
It's the biggest one.
like dog on the piano trying to play piano.
Okay, my throwaway song is Perspective.
Hold on. My throwaway song is.
Talked about perspective too. Nobody
I know,
said
right?
anything about
It
perspective.
reminds me of On Hold Music.
Ooh, ooh, that sucks.
Okay, that's getting a little harsh.
Yeah.
My throwaway song is Humility.
Okay.
Yeah. That was my second
wow,
throwaway song.
wow. Humility was great. It was cohesive, dog.
Yeah, it's
Hella
great.
cohesive.
All right.
It's hella cohesive.
What did you throw away? Wait, what did you throw away?
No, he doesn't have to throw away. He picked it.
Oh, okay. Didn't
I
know
didn't
that
know
was
that
a thing. I think we
Me
just
neither.
made that up right now.
I just made it up.
Okay.
God of the
So,
podcast.
Joey, I'm the god of the podcast.
That's what I said.
You're the math keeper.
Math?
Math? Oh, when I was listening to the Carpenters, why do stars? And I immediately thought, stars! All right. Well, Joey, who picks for the next week?
Only because I'm a kind friend and you expressed your hesitation. I'm gonna pick Alan.
Thanks, dude. Thank you. I really appreciate that. All right, Alan, it's your Texas. Let us
I already
know.
know it.
See? Now you did.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Hold on, let me grab it real quick.
Request only by Ken.
Yeah.
Oh, you said it. Okay, now we've officially said all of the names except for mine.
Well, everyone
Yeah.
can get yours. Do
Yeah.
your.
It's
There
so
you go.
easy.
Look at the shapes.
Huh?
You'll know
Yeah.
their name.
This week's
I'm running.
album,
I have to go to the bathroom. Please hurry up.
this week's album is continuing on the jazz train, and it's gonna be Charles Mingus.
Yes.
Hold on.
There you go.
There you go.
Charles Mingus, the Black Saint and the Sinner Lady.
Right on.
Nice.
Right.
All right. Well, I've never heard it, so I'm excited to listen to it and continue on this jazz train, and my continual venture to try to understand jazz music. So, anyway, to the love of music,
To the sounds that move us.
For listening with you guys.
To the feelings that provides.
to the listener.
listeners.
Thanks for listening.
Love you guys. Bye.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Hold on. Listening.
Bye.
Bye.